morning. Today is Wednesday, October 10th, 2018, and it is World Mental Health Day. So I figured it was a good time to record another video and let you know how I've been doing lately. My name is Allison Barnes, and I am an indie dyer in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and I live here with my son and my husband and my 3 cats, Wicket, Cricket, and Kennedy. And this is my podcast called Knitting and Anxiety. And it's about knitting and anxiety and mental health. And it's been about 4 weeks since my last video. And I'm going to say and a lot. I've been working on a lot of knitting projects. I have really just fallen in love with knitting again. I have quite a few FOs to share with you today. Some stash enhancement, and then a little bit of mental health chat at the end. So I hope you guys have been well lately. Thanks for coming back to watch another video, and if this is your first time watching, thanks for checking me out. The cats are playing in the background, and I'm sitting in my living room surrounded by my favorite photos and my art. And one of my cats was sick yesterday, and she seems to be doing a little bit better today. She's playing and eating again. But it was a little bit nerve-wracking yesterday. It was quite tough, actually. I'm having some coffee today in my new mug from Gravesco Pottery. And it's really, really cute. It's got some knitting and some yarn. I made a bit of effort today and I put some makeup on. I love makeup, and I rarely wear it because I touch my face a lot and I rub my eyes a lot. So it's not always pretty by the end of the day. But I guess I'll start showing you some of my finished objects that I've completed in the last 3 to 4 weeks. First, I have a pair of socks. These are shorty socks called Rose City Rollers. And they're on sock blockers that are a little bit too small. But I'm really happy with the way they turned out because I think I finally figured out how to make socks that fit me. And it was all about tensioning my yarn because these fit really nice, and I've worn them for multiple days without washing and they still fit. They're not sagging. Hi, there's a cat here. She might come into the camera. We'll see. My nose is running a little bit, so I'm sorry. But I knit these Rose City Rollers using a sock blank from Ginger Snap That. And actually, the sock blanks are dyed by Colin, and he is Mr. Snap That on Instagram. And I just love the colored speckles in here. And I did a different heel on each sock because I couldn't remember what I did on each sock. But it doesn't affect the fit at all. Yeah, I'm really happy with those. So I hope to knit some more shorty socks in the future because they seem to go really fast, but I don't like wearing shorty socks in the winter. So my next finished object is a hat. I knit a hat using some yarn that I purchased at the Prairie Fiber Festival at the beginning of September. And this is I think it's called the Big Braid Beanie. Let me see. Yeah, it's the Big Braid Beanie by Prem Knits. And I love how super chunky this cable is, and the rest is just garter stitch. This yarn is a super bulky yarn from Poppy Yarn and Fiber, and it has sparkles in it, and I only used half the skein to knit the hat. I still have 100 grams left. So this is Poppy Yarn and Fiber. The colorway is called Neon Macarons, and it's her Surrey Super Bulky base, which is a 200-gram skein. So I have this, plus I made an entire hat. So I would like to knit another hat. I'm thinking of knitting another Premknits pattern called the Braided Cable Beanie. Using the rest of this yarn, although both of the Premknits patterns recommends bulky weight, not super bulky weight. The hat turned out just fine. It's a little bit slouchier than I think the pattern calls for, but I like wearing it. I wear it kind of more on the back of my head so that my bangs stick out a little bit so that I don't look like a guy when I wear my hat. As that's the problem when you have short hair, is wearing hats and you still look and feel like a woman. But yeah, it was a really super quick knit and really fun. You can use 2 strands of DK weight yarn held together for the pattern, so that opens up a lot of possibilities for future hats. But yeah, that was a really great fast knit because it got cold here really fast in Edmonton. So I want to show you another FO. It's another hat. This is the Logan. Let me just grab the pattern. It's the Logan hat by Knits and Knacks. And it's actually available as a free download from their website, which is called cozyhappyheads.com, I believe. And so it's basically just a really long hat that you knit flat and then seam up. And then you can wear it either super slouchy like that, or I like to fold the brim and wear it as a beanie style hat. And this is some yarn that my mom bought for me in England a couple years ago. Let's see if I have the label. It is a Stylecraft yarn called Carnival Chunky, and it just has a shade number called 2490. And the colors kind of remind me of like an old couch or sofa. The yarn is extremely soft. It's a bulky weight, so it's a little bit heavier, like a heavy worsted more than a bulky, but it's extremely soft and it feels really cozy on the head, so I'm sure it will get a lot of wear this winter. And again, it was, you know, I knit it up in a few nights and pretty quick knit. Recommend that. Nice and easy. Again, that's a free download from cozyhappyheads.com, or you can search for Knits and Knacks on Instagram or Facebook. That's it for, oh no, that's not it for FOs. My last FO is my dad's sweater. It's the Chicane sweater by Cookie A. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern. I did not use Brooklyn tweed yarn though. I used the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Superwash in the color Camel Heather. And it's a worsted weight sweater, and I will insert some pictures here. I gave my dad his sweater already. It's a Christmas present, but since it was finished, I didn't see why I should hold on to it. Since he won't be home for Christmas, they won't be here. They won't be here for Christmas this year, so I thought I would give it to him early, and he's been wearing it like every day. It looks really good on him. The sleeves are maybe a couple inches too long, but doesn't seem to bother him, and otherwise fits really well. And yeah, so I would also definitely recommend knitting that pattern. It basically, the back and front panels were so quick to knit. The sleeves were not too much of a pain. It is a sweater that you have to seam, and then you sew in a zipper at the end, and honestly, it wasn't scary at all. So I would definitely recommend it. I can see myself knitting that sweater again in the women's version, because that pattern comes in both a men's and women's versions, and the women's version has some shaping to it. And yeah, I can definitely see myself knitting that again. So I have some works in progress that one you've seen before. I have been knitting the Timely Cardigan by Truly Myrtle, and I'm at the point now where I can start the bottom ribbing. So the entire body is done. This is the inside. This is the outside. And I'm very happy with how it's coming out. The fit is just how I want. It's not tight or snug. It's got maybe an inch or two of positive ease, so it just feels comfy without being too loose and sloppy looking. And the colors I'm using are from the, let me pick out the balls here. Where did they go? Okay, so this is my speckle color, and it is by Midnight Cravings, and it is called Room for Everyone, and it is on their Sweet Sock base, which is an 80/20 superwash merino nylon, and that is the speckle color. So this is a very subtly striped pattern. The semi-solid is by Comfy Cozy Knits, and it is called Blush. So this is what they look like together, and I just love how the stripes are coming out together. It's pretty, and it's subtle, and I'm really looking forward to wearing it. However, I have the sweater on needle holders right now because I need the same size needle for another work in progress that I started last week. So this is on the back burner until I free up those needles again. So the work in progress that I started last week is for a knit along that my local knitting group is putting on. So the yarning is a weekly gathering of knitters and crocheters and yarning people at a cafe in Sherwood Park, and we started knitting the Marley shawl, which is a brioche shawl. Let me find the first page. It's in black and white. It's a brioche shawl by Dre Renee Knits, or of course her name is Andrea Mowry, and it is a triangle top-down brioche, two-color brioche knit shawl. And I would say that most of the people who are doing the knit along from the yarning group have never done brioche before, and myself included. I've always been a little bit intimidated by brioche, but you know, after a few tries I start to get the hang of it, and now I find it very rhythmic. So I will show you what my progress looks like so far. This is, I'll show you, this is the top. So this is my progress so far. I've done 15 sets of the pattern, or 15 pattern repeats. This is the right side, and this is the wrong side, for color 1 and color 2, and I'm using this yarn from Ancient Arts, I believe. It's their Super Sock NATO. My friend Ashley got this for me when she went on a trip down to Calgary. I think she got it at Stash Lounge. And this is the contrast color I'm starting with. I'm using a gradient set from Sea Turtle Fiber Arts and Pink Sparkle, and this is the lightest color, and I'm gonna go and use progressively darker colors as I run out of each ball. So yeah, pretty happy with it. You can't see the sparkle on here very well, but the pink is sparkly, and it's a very squishy feeling shawl. It'll be nice and warm to wear in the winter, and I pretty much can't put it down. I love knitting on this. It's pretty much all I want to knit right now, so I don't think it'll take me too long. Famous last words, right? I only made one little mistake on it, which I'm not going to point out to you, but I seem to forget to do the increases. When I get to an increase row, I start with the increase, and then by the time I get to the center spine, I've already forgotten that I'm supposed to do increases. And then I get to the end, and then I remember that I was supposed to do increases. So I end up doing a lot of tinking back on those increase rows. So one of the guys at Knit Night, Sean, suggested that I put a stitch marker in the center increase whenever I start an increase row. So if I start the increase row and I do my increases, I'll take a progress keeper or something and I'll stick it on the middle of the shawl so that when I get to the center, I'll remember that I have to do increases again. And then when I get to the end, even if I forget to do the increases at the end, I'm already at the end. I can just tink back 3 stitches or whatever and do my increases at the very end. So I'm hoping that that will work for me. Yeah, so that's 1 week's progress on that shawl. I've done 15 pattern repeats, and I have 30 something pattern repeats to do in total. Of course, it's growing every time you do a set of increases, so it'll be big. And each row would take me longer, but yeah, really liking it. So if you've ever been scared of brioche, just watch a couple videos. You'll kind of get the hang of it, and then just start and just see how it turns out. And it's not a big deal if you have to frog something and then start over again, because you know it starts off this small, and then if it doesn't look right, pull it out. So I have one more work in progress. Because I finished off my Rose City roller socks, I cast on another pair of socks, and I decided that I was ready for a challenge. I normally do my socks one at a time, cuff down, and I went for a whole shebang this time. I cast on 2 at a time toe-up socks, which I've never done before. This is what I have so far, so I'm pretty sure I'm ready to start the heel. Pretty sure. I am using some Knit Picks Felicia yarn that I had purchased earlier this spring, because I purchased 2 balls of this color, and with the intention of doing 2 at a time socks, because then I can just have 1 ball for each sock, and I wouldn't have to split a skein. But I was also interested in doing toe-up socks because I wanted to see how tall I could make my socks. So that is why I am doing toe-up. And I have a stitch marker on this one so I know which is sock 1, so that I know where the beginning of my round is, basically. But yeah, these are also super fun to work on. And before I started the Marley shawl, this is all I was knitting on, which is why I have so much done. But yeah, so I need to measure. I'm thinking of getting one of those sock size wooden sock measuring tools from Burning Impressions to see, just to figure out sizing for my foot, about knowing when to start the heel. I have been kind of following the Sockmaticians pattern slash tutorial on YouTube, and I think that he said if you put the sock on your hand, when you get to the bottom of your thumb, but not the crease in your wrist, but the bottom of your thumb, which is about where I am now, that's when you start your heel increases. For the gusset increases, I mean. So I think I'm ready to start those, but I kind of just want to work on the Marley shell right now. So we'll see. We shall see. So that's it for works in progress. I have a little bit of stash enhancement to show you. First I want to show you some gifts that I received in the mail and in person over the last few weeks. Have a little sip of coffee. So the curated market was just a couple weeks ago at the end of September, and I went to go and see some friends, and I got to meet a girl named Nicole for the first time in person, who is from Calgary, and she has two businesses. She has a jewelry business called Saltwater Tea and a knitting business called Woolfield Studios. And Nicole and I chat back and forth quite a bit, and I brought her some yarn from my Struggle and Strength line to knit with as a gift. And she surprised me with a little care package of some jewelry and a pin. And so I wanted to, and she gave me a really, really beautiful note. And the first thing she gave me was this beautiful bracelet. So it has, I'll read to you, it's Amazonite, that's this green, and pyrite, that's these stones here. It's a little bit bright. Let me read to you what Amazonite. Amazonite is for self-love, calming the soul, facing fears, harmony, and balance. Pyrite is for self-confidence, protection against negative energy, and healing. So that's this bracelet. It's a little bit stretchy, so you can fit it over your wrist. And then the other thing she gave me is this amethyst necklace on quite a long chain. This is the amethyst necklace, and amethyst is said to bring peace, calm, anxiety, and bring balance. That's very pretty. There we go. I think that works. And then she also gave me a cute little pin, which she also sells these pins. And this one says one more row. So I will be adding this to my purse with a locking back so that it doesn't fall off. So thanks again, Nicole. I really appreciate it. Very, very thoughtful. Thank you. And then not that long ago, I was contacted by Leona from Blue Merlin Makes, who is multi-craftual, if you will. She lives in beautiful British Columbia, and she asked if she could send me a necklace in the mail. She's been making these necklaces using hand-dyed yarn that she crochets and putting them on these pendant-style necklaces. Get it to turn here. And she sent me one using one of my colorways. This is called Electric Mint. And it's on this beautiful pendant. That's the back. And then she also wrote me a lovely note, and she surprised me with this cutest mermaid girl with a sparkly shell bra and a wee little belly button, and her hair is made using some of my yarn that I used to dye. This was a discontinued colorway and it's on sparkle yarn. And isn't she so pretty? So she sits on a special corner shelf in my office upstairs. And it's all handmade and it's so pretty. So you should go and find Blue Merlin Makes. She's on Instagram and Facebook, and her name is Leona, and she does all sorts of beautiful crafts, jewelry making, crocheting, doll making, you name it. So beautiful. Thank you, Leona. She is so precious. Also, in the mail, I bought some yarn, so I will share some stash acquisitions with you. Now, there is a dyer that I follow on Instagram, and I not only do I love her colorways, I just love who she is as a person. Her name is Sheena, and she is the dyer behind Casual Fashion Queen. And I've always wanted to buy her yarn, and like many of you I know, have a hard time deciding which colorways to buy because they're all so pretty. This one day I noticed that she was dyeing some yarn inspired by Stephen King novels, and Stephen King is my favorite author. I read everything by him. She was making these mini skein sets based on some of his books. So I set my alarm and I made sure that I got one. And it's in this plastic. And these are all of the mini skeins. Stephen King minis. So these are all of the books that the colors are based on. They're all on an 80/20 2-ply sock yarn. And since I was getting it shipped to me, I decided to pick up a full-size skein of this color called, I think it's called Mabone. Mabone? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, Sheena. But I actually saw, I think on one of her vlogs that she does, I got to see her dyeing this color. And it was so pretty to me. Well, there's some cat hair on it. It's so pretty to me that I decided that I wanted this one too. So this is just stash pretty shelf yarn for a little while. There's her logo. Casual Fashion Queen. And you can find her on her website, casualfashionqueen.com. Yeah, really, really pretty. So it has no plan. The minis will probably go into my my scrap blanket. And yeah, just had to have them. I got one more stash enhancement, and it is some sock yarn from Biscot Yarns. And they are both some Harry Potter inspired yarns because I want to knit my son Harry Potter self-striping socks for Christmas. So I'm thinking of knitting this one for him because I think it'll be more recognizable to Brett that it's Harry Potter because it's the Gryffindor colors. And this is also Gryffindor colors with some gray added in. So I'm not going to knit this one first. I think I'm going to knit this one first. And my plan is to split it into 2 balls and then knit, maybe either knit 2 at a time socks, or just knit them 1 at a time on my 9-inch circs, because I know that his foot circumference is about the same as mine. So I can just knit a 64 stitch sock with, and I know that they'll fit him. And I'm planning on just knitting a tube sock because his feet are still growing and I don't want to put a heel in it and have him not be able to wear them next year. But if I make a tube sock, then I think it'll be okay. So that's my plan with this yarn. And then this yarn might just be for me. I'm not sure, but I wanted to get 2 to make shipping worthwhile, right? So that is it for my stash enhancement. What have I been up to lately? First, I'll have some coffee. So, in the last month or so, I have been taking my anti-anxiety medication every day. I increased my meds one more time and started having daily headaches and feeling nauseated, and just because I was not feeling well, I was in a bad mood and I was being more snappy and irritable, and you name it, it wasn't good. And honestly, I didn't see the correlation between increasing my dose to the way I was feeling. I thought I was sick because I felt sick. I felt like crap. I was barely sleeping at night. I was so tired during the day that I would nap for 2.5 hours in the middle of the day, which is not like me at all. I normally nap if I nap, which I often can't nap because my brain won't turn off during the day, I nap for maybe 20 minutes at a time. So napping for 2 hours is totally not like me at all. And I was feeling like crap. Mood swings and all that stuff. When I finally sat down and talked to my husband about it, and I said, well, do you think this started happening out around, after my last market? He's like, yeah, probably. So then I looked back on the calendar to when I started increasing my dose, and yeah, it seemed to correlate exactly with increasing my dose. So after taking that dose for about 2.5 weeks, I decreased it by half a pill, and back to where I was before I increased it, and I've been having a lot more better days with less side effects. So maybe this is my magic number. I don't know. I have to see how taking this dose affects me with my anxiety and depression, because I've been having some bad days lately. I almost think that taking the higher dose gave me more bad days, so I guess there's really that fine line between what works and what doesn't work, and I'm not certain that this medication is the one. I have to wait and see. Talk to my doctor. We get together. I have checkups every month, see how things are going. It's a long process, and yeah, I can't say that I'm good or there. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I feel like things are getting better most days, but it's still so up and down. But yeah, because today is World Mental Health Day, I wanted to come on and do a video for you guys today. Every day is a new day, so if you're having a bad day today, just remember that tomorrow doesn't have to be a bad day, but also know that it's okay to have a bad day, okay? Everybody has bad days. You can also have good days, but not every day is going to be a good day. Some days are just going to be a mediocre day. Mediocre days are fine. Mediocre days are better than bad days, okay? So don't compare your good days to your mediocre days. Mediocre days are just fine. I think that's it. If you want to follow me on social media, I have a few different places you can follow me. For the podcast, I'm at Knitting and Anxiety on Instagram. If you want to follow my hand-dyed yarn business, I'm at Allison Barnes Yarn on Instagram. If you would like to follow me on Facebook, I am Allison Barnes Collection. You can probably still find me as Allison Barnes Yarn on Facebook. And my website where I have some hand-dyed yarn for sale is AllisonBarnesYarn.com. We also have a blog there which you may find helpful for knitting and some mental health articles. And as always, I welcome your questions and comments in down below in the video, and I also really appreciate if you would give my video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends if you know that they like knitting, or if you know that they also struggle with anxiety and depression or other mental health issues. It's not just anxiety and depression. There are many other mental health diseases out there that are not visible to people because we're really good at hiding them so that we seem normal when we go out in society. But thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. I'm not sure when the next upload will be. Only time will tell how I'm doing. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Bye.